The recession has really taken its toll on this city, and never before have we seen the oil and gas industry bottom out the way they have. And I know that we're doing many things right now to diversify our economy, but still the backbone of our economy is the oil and gas industry. So I think moving to cleaner, producing a cleaner product and all those things that the province is working on in order to address climate change and various other things is really important. But having said that, we have 30% of the buildings downtown here that are empty, and there is a lag effect with the economy in Calgary right now, and I think 2018 will probably be the toughest year from an economic development perspective to turn things around.
Especially right now with all the challenging times that Calgary is going through, I think the city's role in creating jobs can come into having a conducive environment for investors to come in. We need to start looking for a creative way to ensure that people can come in, start a business, and do well. Another thing too that the city can do is to look into taxes, especially new business, first-year business, first-time business owners. Looking for a way to help them through that first year transition. I'm open to having that conversation in encouraging job creation in the city.
The city plays a significant role in both economic development and job creation. I see it being threefold. First is they are the largest employer in the city of Calgary, employing 13,000 individuals. And so I would say those good jobs that allow those individuals to go out and run their lives, purchase products, pay for their home, is a significant component of an economic driver in the city. As well, all of our infrastructure developments, whether it be the ring road completion, the expansion of the 162nd Diamond overpass, those are constructed by individuals who are City of Calgary or Calgary citizens. They basically are paying taxes and they're working hard. And so any of those developments actually puts people to work. Last but certainly not least is around our role as ambassadors. We are the 5th most livable city in Canada, and we should be out telling our story, and I believe that is the role of the City Council.
First is safety, because crime destroys economic development. Second is we need to move the citizens around the city. Travel time is taken time. And third, we need to keep things clean and beautiful, because garbage and graffiti actually destroy pride in a city. If we manage all of those things, we will have facilitated our greatest asset, which is the citizens, and they're the ones that create wealth.
I think what we need to focus on is getting people back to work and looking for a creative way in doing that. So I'm looking for the idea of having conversation with business leaders, community leaders, and other municipalities as well. See what's working, what's not working, and we can employ that in Calgary, and as well streamline what we have in the efficient use of taxpayers' money, and as well looking for loopholes and pretty much conduct an audit of what services we have and what we can streamline.
Like anyone, personally in my home, I have to have needs and wants. There's certain things that the City of Calgary needs to deliver to citizens. So I would analyze it in the sense that there's certain things that would be wants. Those are the ones where you could pull out the red ink towards. I don't know what wants look like specifically, but perhaps grass cutting would be a little bit less of an emphasis than the water services or the police or the fire department. There's certain required essential services, and I would be thoughtful to planning it much like how I plan my own budget at home. Food, housing, shelter, of course, are essentials, and I think the city needs to manage itself in a similar way and identifying what is truly a need and what is a want.
By focusing on the core services that a city should provide, we will then become better at providing those services. Through that, we will gain efficiency, and efficiency breeds productivity. With that productivity, then we could actually cut taxes while providing better services.
So I brought a motion forward in May that administration in November bring back a 0% tax increase. And so what that means is that we're really going to have to live within our means. We've had a significant drop in revenue at the city. On top of that, we've had the carbon tax that has been imposed on us, which is another loss of revenue. And so when you add all those things up, It really is becoming more and more of a burden for us that we'll have to face in 2018. As far as business tax goes, most Calgarians know that we are reducing business tax and eliminating it, but still, we can't nickel and dime people with user fees. So you can brag that we have one of the lowest property tax rates in the country, but when I add up distribution fees, franchise fees, garbage fees, all these other fees, they add up to a significant amount. And so there is the balance. We need to keep taxes really low, but we need to provide the basic services that we need. And some of those are the emergency services, like having our first responders like police, fire, and having them adequately resourced.
I believe that the City of Calgary wants to have a new stadium and that they want the Flames to continue to be stakeholders within the city. That said, it's sometimes a barrier to entry for the middle class to attend and participate in the events at the current Saddle Dome or whatever new development we make. I was lucky enough to receive an email just recently from the Flames Insider offering me season tickets for $6,000. $6,000 is a barrier to entry for me as a young father in the middle class, and I think that's the same situation for the majority of my peers. There has to be public benefits, and I'm thoughtful to how much money we're going to give a private corporation. It's very unique for me as the Flames and the City of Calgary as partners moving forward in this development that the Flames have come forward in this manner during the election to try and strong-arm the electorate and strong-arm City Council into bending to what they require. And so no kudos to them on that. We're partners, we're going to get this done, we're going to have a continued strong friendship and partnership into the future, and the details just need to be worked out. That said, limited value with regards to spending 75% of the cost of a new infrastructure development in the form of a new arena for the citizens of Calgary.
The arena is a big issue in this election. Unfortunately, both sides are debating it like it's the 1950s. The city needs to acknowledge the intangibles that the Flames bring, and then they need to find out who actually benefits financially from that and attach the burden to them, not spread it over the whole tax base. The Flames need to acknowledge that no building supports itself financially when it's only in partial use. So what we need to know is that real estate costs will only go up in this city over time. So let's build a building for the future, not for now. A truly visionary building will have increased revenue by serving multiple purposes for various things. What business do you know could run itself if its building was only used 3 days a week, 4 hours at a time?
I just think it's really sad. What I would have preferred to have seen would be a joint press conference between the Calgary Sports and Entertainment Group and the City of Calgary, having a joint press conference saying, you know what, we're working on this, we realize this is important for our city and our citizens, and it's a complex deal, but we are prepared to roll up our sleeves and find something that works. So this isn't the way we do business in Calgary. We make things happen in Calgary. So part B of my conversation with you about the arena would be that we don't just need an arena. We need a field house. We need a field house that can house the Calgary Flames, the Stamps, the Hitmen, the Roughnecks that are all owned by the Sports and Entertainment Group, plus junior hockey, plus concerts and everything of that nature for citizens to use as a large center.
What I think we need to do is get back to the table. There seems to be, well, this person is saying that, they're saying this, and then it's now in the news. We're no longer having a closed door meeting or having a meeting in general. And what I stand for in one of my campaign messages, engagement. We need to sit and have conversations. We need to find a middle ground, what works for the arena and the owners, and as well as the city and the taxpayers. So we need to find a happy medium between the two. So I'm open to have this conversation again, and I think we can find an efficient way to make it happen, to make it work for both sides. So in grand scheme of things, a conversation again, we need to get back to the table. We need to have a conversation and see what works for both sides.
Everywhere I go in Ward 13, the issue is traffic and taxes. There's too much traffic and it's going too fast through the playground zones. There's too much tax and it's increasing too fast. I will focus on efficiency and bring creative, small business discipline to the table. We need to focus on outcomes so the citizens of Calgary get what they deserve from their government.
One of the major projects that will be happening in the next year or so will be the 2,700 acres of Providence that will be developed. So that development is going to be disruptive. We're currently hooking up with the ring road through the Tsuut'ina Nation, and that's upset a lot of people in Bridlewood because they're ripping up all of that transportation utility corridor behind there. Lots of dust. The gravel pit is going crazy. I also feel bad for the residents of Shawnee. They lost their golf course. It was a private golf course that was sold to developers, and there are a lot of construction issues that face many of those residents there. It ripped out the heart and soul of that community, and there's still a lot of construction that's going on. So I need to be there, you know, all hands on deck, making sure that the impact of development is minimized on those folks that live there.
In my ward, because they feel there's a disconnect between them and the council. At least that's the conversation I've heard. I've met people who lived in the neighborhood for 11 plus years who don't even know who our current councillor is. So that shows that there's a disconnect between the city and the residents. So if anything, I think that's the biggest issues. And I've proved that by going door to door to ensure that I break down those issues. Okay, let me listen, then create a platform to fix those things, because I may have my personal view, and if it doesn't work with the residents, then who am I really representing? So I think that's a big thing in my ward, and that's the thing I'm hoping to fix if elected on October 16th.
In our Ward 13, being on the Calgary city limits, there's been a particularly large amount of infrastructure development over the past few years. That includes development of the Ring Road, the 167 2nd Avenue Diamond Interchange, and really we've been living in traffic jams. The Long Anderson is the same case. And so one of the things that we've been going through, what I would call is growth hiccups. And we have done well, and it's going to be very interesting to see, once all that infrastructure is complete, how efficient it is to commute around our neighborhoods. That said, I do anticipate some growing pains as what is a new development gets implemented. So whether we require safer streets, crosswalks, whatever the case may be, there's going to be new patterns of traffic in Ward 13. And so just evolving with those growing pains once the infrastructure is concluded with its own developments.